Hey second graders, good afternoon. This is our video for Tuesday, March 17th. Today we're going to be working on lesson 23. Our objective is going to be I can read words with different O sounds. So the letter that we see at the top of this slide is O. The first sound that we always want to try when we see the letter O is ah. Ah, ah, ah. Like in these three words in the left column. H, ah, p. The first word is hop. The second word is dr, ah, p, drop. The last word is modest, modest. Can you think of any other words that have the ah sound in them? If we try the ah sound for O and we realize that that doesn't make a real word, then we need to move on and try the O sound, like in the three words in the middle column. O, pen, open. Ho-tel, hotel. No. If we tried ah and that didn't work, and then we tried O and that still didn't work, well, there's one more sound that we can try, and that sound is in our last column. That sound is like in the three words that you see in the final column. S, n, sun. Fr, n, t, front. Come, ing, coming. Notice that ing suffix that makes that word coming really easy for us to read. Right, you'll find this practice page in your phonics packet that was sent home on Friday. If you turn past the stories, this will be the first activity page that you see. Just like the star says, it's going to be the one that says 23.1 at the top. On this page, you're going to read the story in the box. This story is about a boy who is in a hot dog eating contest. You're going to read the story and you're going to look out for the words with the letter O in them. Some of those words are not underlined. Make sure that you're only writing down the words with the underlined O's. Those are the ones that we want to focus on today. After you read the story, you're going to write down the words that have the O's underlined in them in the matching column. We have three columns underneath the story. The first column is for ah, ah, ah words. The second column is for O, O, O words. And the last column is for words. They already did one example for you, the first word. In the story it says last month. First they would have tried ah and they would have gotten the word month. That doesn't sound like a real word. So then they would have tried O, and they would have gotten last month. That doesn't make any sense either. So then they tried last month. Month is a word that we've heard before. So they wrote month in the column. As you're reading the story, you're going to find 7 words to write in the column, the first column. You should find 6 words to write in the O column, and you should find 5 words to write in the column. Don't forget to cross out as you go so you know what words you've used already. This would be a good place to pause the video and go ahead and complete this activity page for practice. On this slide, we're going to look at some grammar rules that we've been practicing. In Unit 5, we've been talking about verb tenses. We have the 3 that we've talked about on here. We have present tense verbs. Those talk about things that are happening right now. We have past tense verbs. Those talk about things that happened in the past. Maybe yesterday, maybe last month, maybe last week. The last tense we have is future tense verbs, and those talk about something that has not happened yet, something that's going to happen in the future. On this slide, we see a list of subjects in the first column, and then in the other columns, we see a variety of different present tense verbs, past tense verbs, and future tense verbs. Some spots are blank, and that's where we're going to fill in the correct verb for those tenses. Let's get started. The first subject we have is I, and they give us the present tense verb lift. Let's turn that into a past tense verb. We know that past tense verbs always end with ed. They always end with ed. So let's write the past tense verb. I weights yesterday. You should have added an ed to get lifted. I lifted weights yesterday. I forgot to mention, if you don't have a piece of paper and a pencil with you, go ahead and pause this video real quick. Go grab those so that you can write these along with me. Next, we want to try our future tense verb. Our future tense verb is just going to include our future tense marker, will. Our future tense marker is will. So you should be writing 2 words for I weights tomorrow. I will lift weights tomorrow. Our next subject is she, and they give us the past tense verb walked. She walked to the store. Let's turn that into a present tense verb. She to the store. For this one, we need to get rid of our past tense marker ed, so erase that. And then we need to actually add a letter to make this make sense. We're going to add a letter S to our base verb walk to get the word walks. She walks to the store. Let's turn walks into a future tense verb. I mentioned that our base verb is walk, so now we just need to add our future tense marker in front of that. So get rid of the S and then write those 2 remaining words. You should have gotten, she will walk. Our next subject is he. This one is going to work just the same as she. We have he, and they give us the verb will sneeze. Let's turn will sneeze into a present tense verb. All we need to do is get rid of our future tense marker. And then we need to add a letter to make it make sense. We add an S and we get sneezes. He sneezes. Let's turn that into a past tense verb. This one works a little funny since it already ends with a letter E. When we write the past tense of sneeze, we only have to add the letter D. And we get sneezed. He sneezed yesterday. Our next subject is you, and they give us the verb pick. You pick flowers. Let's turn that into a past tense verb. This one, everything is normal. You're going to rewrite that word pick and add your past tense ending. You should have gotten the word picked. Let's turn that past tense verb into a future tense verb. So now we're going to get rid of that ed. We're going to add our future tense marker. And you should get will pick. We will pick flowers tomorrow. The next subject we have is we, and they give us the future tense verb will smell. Let's turn that into a present tense verb. Get rid of the will. We, the flowers. Smell. We smell the flowers. Let's turn that into a past tense verb. This one is regular, so all we have to do is add our past tense ending. We, the flowers yesterday. smelled. We smelled the flowers yesterday. 2 more. The next subject is it, and they give us the past tense verb jogged. It jogged. Let's turn this into a present tense verb. We're going to get rid of our past tense ending. This one's a little funny to write down because we have a double G. We have to double that G to add the ED ending to make this word work. So when we get rid of the past tense ending, we also have to get rid of that second G. It jogs. It jogs. We have to add that S because it is the same as he or she. Our base verb then is going to be jog. Let's turn that into a future tense verb. It tomorrow. Will jog. It will jog tomorrow. Last one, we have the subject they. They give us the verb dance. They dance in the show. Let's turn this into a past tense verb. This one already ends with an E, so we only have to add one of the letters to make that past tense ending. We get danced. They danced in the show. Last one. Let's turn dance into future tense. You only need to add one word, the future tense marker. Will dance. They will dance tomorrow. All right, our story today is called Looking for the Enemy. Our first vocabulary word that you're going to find in our story is recalling. This word is recalling. Recalling means remembering, like he was recalling what he did yesterday at recess. Think about a sentence that you could use with that word recalling. This word is crept. Crept means moved quietly and carefully, like Otis crept up to his treat bag to sneak a treat. Think about your sentence with crept. This word is rejoice. Rejoice means to celebrate. We will rejoice when we go on vacation. Think about your sentence with rejoice. I'm going to go ahead and read this story to you. At the end of the page, I'm going to stop to ask you a question and ask you to find some text evidence. Looking for the enemy. My good knight, what is happening? Asked an astonished King Alfred as he got up. Your Majesty, said Sir Gus, pardon me, but I am not quite sure. It seems that King Henry and his knights did not come as friends, for I saw the Black Knight place you in his dungeon. Sir Gus tried to explain as best he could what had happened. However, he could not explain why he had woken up in the jousting arena to find everyone else asleep. How are you feeling? Asked the king, recalling that Sir Gus had fallen from his horse in the joust. Well, I'm still standing, replied Sir Gus. We had better get out of here and find out what is happening, said the king. Yes, said Sir Gus, by all means. We must find out what is happening. But deep, deep down, Sir Gus was not sure he really cared to find out what was happening. On this page, what text evidence tells you that King Henry and his knights did not come as friends? Give you a second to look. All right, if you look in the second paragraph, it says right here, I saw the Black Knight place you in this dungeon. That would be some strong text evidence to show you that King Henry and his knights did not come as friends, because friends would never put you in a dungeon. Slowly, Sir Gus and the king crept out of the dark dungeon. They set off to find King Alfred's knights. At the same time, the king woke up. So did everyone in the palace and the arena. Slowly, people began to realize someone had betrayed King Alfred. It wasn't long before King Alfred and Sir Gus found the other knights in the palace. On this page, what text evidence can you find that shows that Sir Gus and King Alfred felt unsafe? Take a second to find that text evidence. Take a look at the first paragraph. It says, "Slowly Sir Gus and the king crept out of the dark dungeon." This is good text evidence for this question because you wouldn't creep if you felt safe. If you felt safe, you'd just walk out. But they were creeping. They were moving slowly and carefully, trying really hard not to get caught. "Your Majesty, I rejoice to find you so well," said Sir Tom as he knelt and kissed the king's ring. "We feared King Henry had taken you from us. It seems he was planning to take over your kingdom." "Yes, I am alive. All thanks to Sir Gus," explained the king. "He found me in the palace dungeon. I am still not sure why he found me asleep in my own dungeon." "That is easy to explain," said Sir Tom. "King Henry's wizard cast a spell that made everyone sleep. It would seem that somehow the spell did not harm Sir Gus, and he was able to wake you up." "In fact, everyone has woken up," said Sir Ed. "What about King Henry and his knights?" asked King Alfred. "Where are they?" On this page, look for the text evidence that explains how Sir Gus and King Alfred ended up in the dungeon. How did they end up in the dungeon? Give me a second to look. Okay, look right here. It says, Sir Tom explained it to the king right here in this paragraph. It says, "King Henry's wizard cast a spell that made everyone sleep. It would seem that somehow the spell did not harm Sir Gus, and he was able to wake you up." That tells how King Alfred and Sir Gus ended up in their own dungeon. "Do not fear, your Majesty," said Sir Ed. "We will find King Henry and his knights, and we will see that they are punished for what they have done." King Alfred's knights looked high and low, and in every corner for King Henry and his knights, but they were nowhere to be found. Somehow, they had all managed to escape, but at least King Alfred was safe. Look on this page to find the text evidence that shows that King Alfred's knights made a thorough, that means a complete, search for King Henry and his knights. How do you know they made a complete search? Okay, right here, it tells us King Alfred's knights looked high and low and in every corner. That's a lot of places to look. They didn't leave any place unchecked. So that text evidence shows you that they looked everywhere. If you go back to your phonics packet and you turn to the next page, you'll see page 23.2. Looks just like this. We're going to write some adjectives about King Alfred. So on this first line right here, go ahead and write down King Alfred. You can either use the slides from earlier in this video where I was reading the story to stop and look for adjectives, or I will put the link in the comments that will give you access to the story to look at online. But I would like you to look back in the story from today and find 3 adjectives that describe King Alfred. Remember that an adjective is just one word that describes someone. So you could say the funny girl, and funny would be your adjective. Look back and find 3 adjectives from the text describing King Alfred. If you can find more, awesome, awesome. That's going to be going above and beyond, right? As many as you can find, but I'd like for you to try to find at least 3. That's going to go on this first column right here. Then, after you find your 3 adjectives from the story, think in your brain about 3 new adjectives that would describe King Alfred. So it can be what you think of him, or how he seemed to you. Those are going to go in this column right here. That is all for today. I will see you again tomorrow for lesson 24.